So in this video, we're going to be looking at the kind of backwards C isometric shape. Again, as I go through, the first thing I want to do is I want to start visually thinking about what this drawing is going to look like. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to color in my sections. So the front are these pieces that are angled up to the left. So anything that is angled up to the left is going to be a front. So I can already see that I've got these three separate pieces. None of those are conjoined. We're going to go to the red. So I see that I have this one solid chunk from the red side that I see, but then I also have this piece back here. Now, if I'm looking from the right, I'm only seeing this, which tells me that because I have this piece colored, I'm going to have a hidden line in there. And then from the top I can see that I only have this one section. So this one nice chunk that I have, there's no layers underneath because it's all just one linking cube high. So that top's going to be real nice and easy for us to do. I'm going to go ahead and change to my black marker. I'm going to look and we're going to do the front. So across the front, it's three of these linking cubes wide. And it's really three individual 3/4 by 3/4 squares. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in, 125. I'm going to scroll down to where I see the front. And then one of the things that we can work on too is placement. We don't want a lot of space between these. So if we could kind of keep these all kind of centered in this, like the close to the middle of this, where these coordinates or these quadrants come together, that would be ideal, but we're not going to stress about that right now. So I'm going to start right about here because I only need at least enough to get the one cube high. And I'm going to go the opposite way. So I need to go 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to double check that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Remember, hold shift down before you click to draw. That gives us our nice straight lines. There's my 3/4 inches high in height, my 9 back across the width, and then my 3/4 inches back down, and I have that rectangle. Now we said that we saw three individual cubes that were 3/4 by 3/4. So if I count in 1, 2, 3, here's the one on the left, 1, 2, 3, the one in the middle, and the one on the right, 1, 2, 3. I verified. So now again, I don't necessarily know which one is further back than the other. Maybe all three of them are at different levels. But what this tells me is that there is some change that from the front, we see that change. We look at the right side. Again, we're going to draw our little guidelines to help make sure. At some point, you won't need to draw these in here. But notice I have a thinner line, and that's just to help me in the construction of my multi-view. So we're going to look at the right up here. The right from this side, and remember, you always want to look at it from the right side. We only see these two linking cubes. So I see a 3/4 inch height and a 6/4 inch depth. But then we have this piece right here that this is missing. So from this side, this is solid all the way back, but this side has that missing piece. So we will have to have that hidden line in there. So let's go back to drawing. I'm going to start here and I go 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We go our 3 units in height. Back 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then back down our 3/4 inches there. We see that we line up with these guidelines for the front, so we know that our height is correct. And we also know that we have that hidden line that happens between these two linking cubes. So at that 3/4 inch mark, it's a dotted line because we don't see it. If we can see the change, it's solid. If we don't see the change, it's dotted. That's telling us that there's a hidden change behind it. So now we look, we've got our front and our right established. We're going to go ahead and let's look at this top. Now the top, remember, the front is what's going to be on the bottom. So if we stand that up, if you can visually in your head picture standing that up so that the green is on the ground, we kind of see what looks like an N. We kind of see what looks like an N. We want to get of our guidelines. So we're going to draw our guidelines here. Let's move this over a little bit. And here, so we have those guidelines there. So we know how wide this is going to be, but let's double check. So from here, it's going to go 9 units, or excuse me, 6/4 inches up, and then 9/4 inches across the top. So let's go back to our drawing tool. So find a nice intersection. We're going 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because remember, along the top, this is representing our depth. So even though in the image we associate like a height as height, this is actually representing the depth of the shape. It goes 9 across, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It comes back down 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we can see that these both ended on that same line. They do line up perfectly with that purple line that we used. And then we just have to kind of make the N shape here. So we come across 3, up 3, across 3, down 3, and back across 3. So all these are 3/4 inches, and that's the same thing that we saw on the front. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The top was a solid piece, so there's no changes there, and there's nothing hidden underneath since it only had that one layer. So if we zoom out of this and we look at this, I'm going to erase some of these lines so that we can kind of see that finished product. But when we look at it, we see that there's changes here, that these three things are not at the same point. Well, when we look up, notice how these all match up. So if I were to look at this, you've got this piece here, and this piece here. So then we see how those pieces actually are offset from each other. We can see that the two end pieces are actually at the same level, and then it's that middle piece that's set back. Over here, we see that there's a missing or a hidden piece behind the right side. So this is the right side. And we can see that hidden piece that's missing is right here in this middle. And as we talk about that, this might be a good time to bring that in. So if we bring in the idea that we're going to make this a little bit larger, just so that we can see this, we have the width of our shape is right here. So that would be what is represented from on the front from that left to right side. We have the depth of the shape over here on the right. We're going to use, whoops, we're going to use a red for this, and I should use green on that one. So the depth is going to be represented along the right side, and it's also going to be represented along the side, the right side of the top. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to change this one so that we do stick with our color that we have. So shapes, I'm going to change this to green so that width is going to be here, and it's also going to represent the width of that top piece. So now we can see that the width is being represented on both the front and the top. The depth is being represented on both the right side and the top. And this is two-dimensional, so that one's done. So that means that we're missing one dimension for both the front and the right. And that last dimension is going to be the height. That height is going to be this portion of it right here. So as we look at that, I'll use blue for the height just because it shows that we're going to the top. That height is going to be there as well as show us the height right there. So as we start looking at these and we start lining everything up, we want to make sure that all of these aspects are the same. There's 2 cubes here that make up the depth. There's 2 cubes here that make up the depth. There's 3 across the width. There's 3 across the width of the top. Each height is 1 linking cube tall. All right. See what you can do and move on to your next one.